thank you very much for being here with us. And one question that I was not sure if I should ask, but I'm going to ask it anyway, is one of the things that management loves about I don't know, CMMI and PMI and all that stuff is that in some way the company gets, I don't know, certified or something, or somebody went and look at the company and approves the way they work. I guess that's one of the things that Scrum has also I don't know, penetrated into the company world too. So I've been wondering if you guys foresee any sort of additional certifications towards or for the Agile movement besides you know what Scrum is already doing.
Certification doesn't work. It's a smokescreen. Those managers that think certification is going to guarantee them good results deserve the results they get. Certification is there because people are desperate for trust. And they think, well, I don't have any other way to know somebody's trustworthy, so maybe certification will do it. But every certification mechanism out there has fallen into disuse because people discover, guess what? It's just a smokescreen. If you cannot tell good from bad through other methods, certification isn't going to give you much. So I don't believe in certification, and I sure as heck hope Agile doesn't get any more of it.
I haven't said anything yet. I think that certification is misused. I don't think it's useless. I think that certification has value for the individual. Like for me, I have a degree in software engineering. That means something to me. It means I worked hard and I studied and I achieved certain grades. I achieved a certain level of competence. And I feel confident by having that. I don't go around announcing to people I have a degree in software engineering. I don't put it on my resume. I don't even have a resume anymore. I don't need to do that, but it's a personal achievement. And I think that offering someone a certificate at the end of a two-day training, which I believe you actually do, Mary, you give out a certificate. There is a lean certificate floating on it.
Well, I don't actually put on courses, other people put them on. If they give certificates out, that's fine.
And I think, you know, and it's probably quite nice for people to get that certificate and just to acknowledge that I've done this training course, and it's a sense of personal achievement. Of course it doesn't mean anything in the real world. Of course it doesn't mean after 2 days of doing a lean course you're going to be a lean expert, or after 2 days of doing a certified Scrum Master course you're going to be a Scrum Master. You can't be a master of anything after 2 days. It's nonsense. We all know this. It's widely acknowledged in the community. You know, now, management, as Mary exactly says, if management think they're going to get something special by hiring certified people, they're going to get what they deserve. I'll absolutely buy into that. I'll go along with that completely. It's not about certification. It's about personal growth. I think that the whole Agile community is benefiting from people doing what they believe to be right for themselves. It's like looking after yourself for the first time. There is a horrible culture of oppression in the software industry, and it comes about because of this mechanistic approach. We've got exactly what Micah was saying about where it comes from. It comes from this idea that we can engineer everything. Software is not about engineering. I also want to support Micah's point of view about software craftsmanship. This is totally about craftsmanship. Software is a craft. It's an art form. It's creative. We have to collaborate deeply in order to do this. But I do want to speak to this idea that we don't need Scrum Masters because I have the microphone.
That's right.
I'd like to invite Micah to come and do a CSM course with me sometime.
I am a certified Scrum Master.
I'd like to invite Micah to come and do a CSM course with me sometime. I think that the role of the Scrum Master is necessary in the kind of dysfunctional organizations we are currently working in. And the reason for that is that the Scrum Master is there to ensure that we can get exactly what Micah was talking about in terms of software developers. We can get the best software development we can get. without the software developers having to be concerned with all the bullshit that goes on in an organization. Someone else has to take care of the bullshit. That's the Scrum Master's job. Once the bullshit is cleared, once we're working in a healthy organization with people who respect what we're doing and understand it and don't spend 70% of their time don't spend their time forcing us to write 70% of documentation that's never used. Once we can get rid of that, and the Scrum Master's role is to help us do that, once we can get rid of that, we can get rid of the Scrum Masters. I'll happily see them go. Give me a healthy organization and a healthy team, and I'll say, no, you do not need a Scrum Master. You just need to be craftsmen in your environment, writing the best software you can, and having a good time doing it. So it's a slow process, and I think that if we understand the role of the Scrum Master, call it what you will. Some people call it an Agile coach. That's also another term that's used quite frequently. It's in order to coach people in the organization to understand what this Agile thing is, what this new way of thinking is all about. It's not just overlaying a process on top of all the dysfunction you've currently got. It's about changing everything. As I said earlier, I think it's about changing everything. And that's a slow process. Let's create a space for software developers to do the best job they can and put a shield around that in a sense and then deal with all the crap outside of that.
Okay, so back to the craftsmanship and the automated code. I'm not quite sure whether automatically generated code will disappear or not because of Agile and whatever. But what I think is that we need to have a clear idea of what automated code adds as a value and what it does not. I think that all over these sessions, these 2 days, at least myself learned that the value that we add to software comes out of our minds and comes out of working as teams, collaborating with customers, with product owners, with whoever, I don't know. But I guess it is not about choosing what tool we need to choose for the future, what tool we need to choose for this or for that. We can keep using either tool. The thing is that we keep focused on the human value that software, as anything else that humans develop, has. And that's it.
Since I kind of started the comment that automatically generated code would go away, it's not because of Agile, it's just a different trend. When we look at craftsmen and their craftsmanship, you can do a really, really good job with a power saw, and you can do a really, really bad job with a power saw. So a power saw automatically generates cuts, and if you use it well, it'll do a good job. A lot of the tools that we've had to automatically generate code haven't done it well. Maybe sometime in the future, we will have that, and most code will be automatically generated. We're just not there right now. It needs more research.
Here. I have a question for Tobias. I had two questions. You answered one already, because you said that we need to fully change our way of thinking, but now you recognize that change is a slow process. So the second question remains, isn't it a bit early for us, for all of us, to change completely our way of thinking and forgetting about everything we knew? Maybe for this first wave of Agile stuff, we might compromise a bit, like Mary said, just for the way, you know.
One of the things I say on my CSM course, and people say, well, what about, we have this document we're using, or we have this thing that we do, we have this meeting that we have to have. My response is usually, or perhaps always, if what you do is working for you, keep it. If what you do is working for you, keep it, but reflect on it. So every so often, ask yourselves the question, who's getting value from this thing that we're doing? Who's getting value from this document? What value are they getting? How is it being used? Now, if we can answer those satisfactorily, so it feels like it makes sense to everyone, team and product person, whoever, and then keep doing it. If it's adding value, in other words, keep doing it. So no, you're not going to throw everything out overnight. I'm not suggesting that at all. I'm just saying be prepared to start thinking in a completely different way about what you do. So you're going to move into, from whatever you're doing now, you've done some lean training or you've done some scrum training, you're going to go back to your organization and say, okay, how do I start applying this? You know, for heaven's sake, don't just like throw everything away and say we're not going to write any documentation, all the teams are going to knock all the cubicle walls down, fire all the middle layer of management, and now we're doing scrum, because it won't work, promise you.
Hello. So I have a question. We are all here learning a new way of developing software. But what I've seen in Brazil, at least, I don't know how it works here, is that our universities are still teaching what we know as the wrong way for developing software. And I would like to know if you have some idea of how we, as a community of developers, can change that.
Okay, so I have an answer for that. So along with software craftsmanship is software apprenticeship. Now, I went to school and I got my degree in computer science. And when I started my job, I didn't know what I was doing. It took me months to learn how to really write code, even though I had this degree. So there's a movement out there, software apprenticeship, where maybe instead of going to college and getting a degree, or maybe in addition to going out and getting a degree, you start an apprenticeship where you work with a master software craftsman and learn from him and become a craftsman yourself. My company offers a software apprenticeship program where we do just that, where we train people to be craftsmen.
A distinguishing characteristic of a craftsperson, a master craftsman, is that they are not pursuing the craft solely for its own sake. They are focusing, yes, on the craft, but also on their client. They are working to deliver something of value to their client whom they deeply respect and understand. When you think of your clients, I suggest that you keep in mind that they don't want software. If they could solve their problems without software, they'd be happy. But sometimes you need software. Sometimes software is the best way to solve it. But keep in mind that they are looking for a solution to their problem. And you can be proud when you create something that helps them solve their problem. But how can you do that if you don't understand their problem? If you don't go see for yourself what it is that is really the condition that they're trying to cope with. If you want to be really proud of what you do, you can't be proud of it simply because it's elegant code, simply because it has no known defects. Those are necessary but hardly sufficient. The real roots of pride are in really making a difference to the people you are serving. That's where the joy comes from, not from defect-free code. Now, the university is 4 years, maybe 2 years by the time you get all your non-computer courses out of the way. How long does it take to become a master in any field? 10 years. Why should we expect people coming out of the university to be competent beyond an apprentice level? We shouldn't. How many of the people teaching in the university are masters, master craftsmen? Very few. Does that mean the university education is useless? No, it doesn't. Particularly if you focus on taking things other than computing. if you focus on classes that teach you how to think and how to solve problems, maybe philosophy, logic, mathematics, physics, engineering classes. 10 years ago, when I was hiring people, I would never hire a computer science graduate. I would only hire engineers and physicists and mathematicians because they were the ones whose education taught them to solve problems. I never met a computer science graduate 15 years ago, maybe this has changed, who actually had solved problems, who had gone to see for themselves real problems in the real world. So focus on understanding the world and then apply your craftsmanship to solve problems there.
Yes, I have a question. According to your experience, have you ever seen people overcoming the embracing of silver bullets? I mean, people tend to embrace silver bullets as if Yes, sorry. As if it was a solution. Have you ever seen people overcoming that? Do you have a way of teaching people that silver bullets are not silver bullets? Do you understand my question?
The people who embrace silver bullets are people who do not understand the work they're managing. How many of you work for people who understand your work at a significant level? 1, 2, 3. Welcome to Silver Bullet Land.
Hi. I have seen a different presentation that the Agile methods deals with the risks in opposite of the traditional method that are kind of afraid of risks. But I also know that, for example, PMI concepts are based on risk management, and project management from PMI are based on risk management. So I wanted to know your opinion about risk management, or maybe to know what is the Agile risk management approach.
Can you define risk management? Can you define risk?
Well, risk is something that may affect us in a negative way, may affect the project, may affect the sprint, the release.
Are you a PMP?
No.
Okay, that's the
No,
way PMI defines it as well. So the way Agile deals with risk management is it is risk management. The whole thing is one risk management. The concept behind it is that you end up with risks because you don't know things. The best way to figure out how to know things is to do it. You do a little bit, see how it goes. If it's wrong, you stop and you go the next way. So the idea is by assessing the most risky or uncertain things first, that's the way you do risk management. And effectively, that's what PMI wants to get done.
Well, I was just telling her I thought that was a good answer. Yeah, getting information early mitigates risk, eliminates risk, yeah. There's also a trend I hear people talking about to treat requirements as real options. That's another way that Agile thinking, I guess the word Agile gets worn out, but new thinking, perhaps, helps with risk. Because if the customer is thinking of real options rather than a static list of requirements, it gives them a lot of flexibility to deal with risk. At the last responsible moment, they can change something, replace